Great. So that's how you write a writer. Let's write a reader. Let's read text into here. So what I'll do is I'll get rid of this whatever's in here. Instead of writing info.text, which is something empty, I'll just go, you have one, just quickly. So I want to write all of this. So what I'll do is I'll create a writer, write all of that in, and then I'll read it into this text box here. All right, so how do you write a reader? So same deal, you go dim reader as io.stream, but then now this time it's a reader. We're going to allocate, we're going to construct that reader. So this new IO reader constructs the reader. This allocates space for the reader, the size of what the reader would be, and then this one then creates the actual reader, all the little things that associate with it, it'll construct it. Info.text, because this file is the file that we need to read, and this won't work unless if it doesn't exist. So if it doesn't exist, this will crash, or it should. And then we go reader. Let's have a look here. We go. Let's have a look at what reader has. Reader dot. Go to the purple. Let's see what we've got. We've got close, but we need to make sure we forget. Don't forget to close it. So we'll close it first, just because we'll forget. I tend to forget it. So now I'll close at the end there. What else does it have? It has close. It has dispose. We want to dispose it. Peak. That's useful. There's read and read line. There's read and read line. What's read do? Let's have a look. Read reads out an integer. We don't have integers. Read line reads out. Looks like it reads out. Yeah, it reads out the string. You can see add string at the end there. What's block do? Oh, here's read to the end. I think that's the one we might want to use. Yeah, we'll use read to the end because this one we can read line by line and add it to our text block. Let's read line by line first. Let's learn how to read line by line because that's the ultimate reason why we use a stream reader. If we want to just read to the end, we can use the other class, the other part of the class, which is the file methods, right? Which is what I'll cover next. So we'll read by line by line. So we'll read one line first into the txt info.text. We'll read that one first, and we'll just jump into the text there, and it should get dear Mr. Hem. You should get that one line. You won't get the rest because it's only reading the first line. Let's try that. There we go. So we only read the first line. Oh, that thing's annoying. Now I'm just gonna turn that one off. So you can see it reads the first line. So how do we read the next line? You can just keep writing this. So what we can do is we could, write this again and add. We're going to add the next line. So it adds the next line, but it doesn't add it as a new line, see? It's because we're reading line by line. So so we have to put our own environment. Dot new line. We need to write our own environment dot new line plus. Look, there we go. So that's annoying, and you can keep doing that. But let's say we don't want to do that because if there's like 10 lines of code, we have to write this 10 times. We don't want to do that. So what we're going to do is we're going to use a while loop. While we're not at the end. So the way we do that is while our reader peak means while we're checking the reader. We're checking the reader if it's not at the end. -1 means it's at the end. So while it's not at the end, this literally translates to while the reader is not at the end. Dot peak not -1. It's weird, but it translates to while not reach the end. Basically that's how we write it. We will want to reader.read line. We're going to keep reading the lines out, and we're going to keep adding it to this thing. Plus we're going to add it while we add new lines to it. Environment dot new line. pretty long way of doing this. There's quicker ways to do this, but I'm just demonstrating it. So we want to read line by line and add it to our text box. Let's see how it goes until it gets to the end. So there you go. And you notice there's an extra space here. That's because we put the space at the front. Maybe we'll put that at the back instead. That means we'll get an extra space at the end rather at the front, but it looks a bit better. There we go, and looks like there's an extra space there. So if you don't want that extra space, you kind of got to delete it or not put it in. But anyway, this is not really the way to do it, but you get the idea. So you have a reader, you create the reader and allocate them. Create the reader and allocate and specify the file name or path. But there's no path because we're in the debug folder. Write this while thing, while.pig. So before you get to the end, basically, read every line, add a new line to it yourself, and this is an add. This appends. This plus is an append. Append means to add more, not to replace, but to add more into the text box. And there you go. And then you close the reader. Don't forget to close that reader. Okay, let's have a look at our time. It's 20 minutes already. I think I'll stop here and I'll show you a quicker way, but you know, depending on the context, how to read and write files. But with this, we don't really need to know anything more. You can pretty much work with these methods. Thanks for listening.